I'm going to read the most raunchy sex scene. Lost and Found, Brooke Davis. Morning-ish. Agatha Standard Time. The sun is coming up, that moment when it's not night and it's not day. Agatha's not missing it this morning. They hear the ocean smashing into the cliffs. They stand in the shrubs a few hundred meters away from the car, facing each other. Carl puts his hand on Agatha's cheek. The feeling is not unpleasant. Your cheek is so soft, he yells suddenly. Your cheek is so soft, he yells suddenly. Agatha smiles. Your hand feels nice, she yells back. I'm going to put my other hand on your other cheek, Carl yells. I'd like that. Carl moves in closer and holds Agatha's face in his hands. He can't really see her because it's still dark and his eyes are terrible. But he can feel the heat of her and he loves her skin on his hands. You smell good. He yells. She yells back, I think you should take off your shirt. He steps back and undoes his buttons on his shirt. You should take off your jacket, he yells, throwing his shirt to the side. Agatha undoes the buttons on her jacket and drops it on top of his shirt. Skinny arms, she yells at him. Yes, he says, looking down at them. He looks back up at her. Smooth neck. Singlet, she yells. He pulls his singlet up over his head and throws it on the side with the other clothes. His hair is spiky on top of his head. Blouse. I can see your ribs, she yells at his as she unbuttons her blouse. Shoes. I can see your bra strap. Gross, he yells, while stooping down and untying his shoelaces. Shoes. Relatively inoffensive chest. Socks. I want to rub your feet. Stockings. I'd like to put my head on your chest. Trousers. Strong calves. Skirt. And then they're both standing in their underwear. They look shocked to see each other. The light warms up around them. They're both becoming more than blurry silhouettes to each other. Carl stands in front of Agatha, wearing nothing but his boxer shorts. He is so skinny, hair growing across his chest in fits and bursts. Skin droops from his arms around his nipples and around his elbows, his elbows in a sad U shape. It's pretty sad. Like someone is pinching them downwards, the weenus. She moves towards him until she's too close. Sorry. She moves towards him until she's so close she can see the hairs on his chest shifting and moving with every breath she exhales. Getting pretty steamy. Agatha lets Carl look at her. She is all clumps and bulges and rolls and there's just so much flesh there and she wants to push his face into all of it. She wears a bra. That means business. One that you could probably attach to a truck to tow them out of trouble if you were in a bind. Her stomach bulges out over her slip and there's fat sneaking out the sides of her bra. With a bit of difficulty, she sits on the ground, her legs out in front of her. Carl, with a similar amount of difficulty, does the same. They lean in towards each other, their faces hovering so close. They both notice more wrinkles on the other's face. Agatha notices more hair than she first thought. Carl notices a hair growing out of Agatha's chin. They close their eyes and kiss. And then they do it. Because even old people call it it. It's not classy or something you'd want to see close-ups of. Nothing works the way it should, and they get red dirt up their nose and have to take a breath to clear them. And Agatha keeps her bra on because it has been a big day of new things and you've got to stop somewhere. And they have to work out which parts of their bodies still work and those that don't. They have to spend a long time working each other out. Is this okay? Carl says. And is this okay? Agatha says. And it is too slow and too fast, and they never get it quite right. And it's not good, but it is warm and thrilling in its way. And Carl makes as many very old man noises as he pleases, and Agatha is quiet for the first time in a very long time. And Carl says, aren't we lucky to have hands? Because he just loves the feeling of grabbing her stomach. And Agatha nods because she loves the feeling of being grabbed. And Carl sits up suddenly. The typewriter letters fall from Evie falling into place in his mind, and says, go for it. And Agatha says, I am. And Carl says, no, I mean that's what... And he almost says Evie's name. And wouldn't that be a big mistake? So he lies down and says, forget it. And Agatha seems to. As the sun rises and warms and yellows. Got it. They know they should be playing mahjong and sitting in chairs and making tea and writing letters to grandchildren. They should not be having sex in the desert, but they are. And it makes them feel like movie stars. Because surely only movie stars do things like have sex on a cliff as the sun rises, and Carl thinks, I could play me in a movie. I'm better than Paul Newman. He is dead and I'm alive. I'm alive. And their skin, it feels amazing against the fresh air. There is beauty in the entitlement they feel. They have lived long and deserve this moment, and everything flaps and flies and wobbles and jiggles and sags, and it's like flying, sort of. And Agatha can't stop holding her arms up to feel the air on them. It is such a true feeling, and Carl can't stop looking at her, and they look at each other in the eye for a long time, and Agatha has never felt this good in her body before. She has never felt like it was right to be in it, and she does not speak. She cannot speak. After they've done it, they sit against each other, feeling the cold dirt on their skin, holding each other up, watching the sun prepare to start a new day. Agatha says, I loved him, you know, Ron. I know, Carl replies as he writes, Carl and Agatha was ear in the dirt around them. And that's it.